This 60-year-old lady had a grudge on me since I was 7 years old. This tried to hit me with her car. Like, you need to see a psychologist and a psychiatrist. Like 911 police, not the neighborhood watch. She called like the feds. So my dad pulled up with his lawyer, and my dad already had the lawyer right there ready to serve him the papers, okay? Yo, oh my God, I got loads of stories about her, bro. She was the most nuts lady I have ever seen in my entire life. No, I'm so serious. Okay, like this lady was actually insane. When I remember one year we were younger, right? And I was camping. I wasn't actually camping. We had a little forest in our neighborhood and there was a sidewalk through it. And me and my sister just brought sleeping bags in there and we just hung out there one day. Like as like on some pseudo we're camping type shit. Like, but we weren't actually camping, obviously. But we were trying to be like, hee, we're camping, hee. Her backyard was actually the one we stopped behind. There was a fence. So she had a fence that you could see in and out of the forest into. And her backyard was kind of covered in bushes, but there was like a fenced area and you could see into her backyard a little bit and she could see into the forest a little bit. And we were in the forest. And this was right before Easter. So Easter was either the next day or a day later, because the only reason we were out here in the middle of the week is because we didn't have school, right? And so we looked into the backyard gate and I remember there were a bunch of Easter eggs in her backyard. Okay, there were a bunch of Easter eggs. And I was like, oh, there's a bunch of Easter eggs in her backyard. Like lit, you know, that's cool. And I remember we looked in there and that was it. Okay, that was it. We looked through her backyard, we looked through the gate, we saw the Easter eggs, and we kind of just left it at that. And then when we were back there, she saw us and she like kind of came out and was like going a walk and was like said hi to us, you know, trying to be on some like old woman, be like a nice lady or something. I don't know why she said hi to us, but she did, okay? And then we go home that day. We're chilling, you know, we're hanging out. Me and my sister, you know, we had fun in the forest, whatever. The next morning was Easter. She had family over and they had eggs set up the day before for an Easter egg hunt. Those were the eggs we saw in her backyard. Well, apparently when she woke up that morning and went to look into her backyard, all the eggs had been opened and emptied out. Like they were left open everywhere in her backyard. Okay, they were left open. Someone came in and robbed the bitch. Okay, someone robbed them, all the eggs. All right, now keep in mind this was a locked gated area. Okay, a locked gated area, meaning me and my sister could not get in. I was in like 2nd grade, my sister was in like 4th. Okay, so I was like maybe 6, my sister was maybe 8, maybe. Okay, like we were young, like we were some little ass kids. We were not even 10 yet. Okay, we were under the age of 10. I was definitely under the age of like 8. All right, and she called my parents up and was like, your kids stole the Easter eggs out of my backyard. I saw them there. I saw them there on this day, and I think they climbed over the fence and stole the eggs. Keep in mind, this fence, listen, at my grown adult age, I would struggle to climb, okay? All right, it was tall, and not only was it tall, the fence was a bunch of thin metal vertical bars. If you don't know how hard it is to climb fences like that, you're bugging. If it was a wooden fence, sure, they have support beams that go across, but these were thin, spaced out metal bars with sharp tips. How the hell am I climbing over that at my young age of like 4, 5, 6? How? On top of that, how am I climbing over that, stealing everything out of your eggs, and then somehow getting back over the fence with all the stuff we stole, with all the loot, with all the robbed goods, bringing it home, and my parents not finding it? How? Like, do you think we did voodoo? You think we got black magic? You think I'm a wizard? Like, how? In what way is that possible? Okay. Also, where would we store the stuff in the eggs? We would have need to brought a bag, got the bag over, then get the bag back over. Like, it was way too complicated of a heist for me and my sister to do. Okay, way too complicated. But she called my parents and was blaming us. And my parents did what, you know, any sensible parents would did. And they interrogated us to see if it was us. They were like, oh, you know, I want to know if it was you guys. And, and me and my sister were like, it wasn't us. 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 So my parents called them and it was like, oh yeah, I don't think it was my kids. And she was like, it had to have been your kids. They were behind the fence all day. And then the next morning, everything was gone. Keep in mind, okay, first of all, I don't know what was in those eggs because, contrary to popular belief, I didn't steal them, okay? So I didn't know what was in them, all right? But I have 2 theories. Theory 1, if there was candy in the eggs or like chocolate or any sort of food item, squirrels could have gotten into it. Y'all don't understand. Squirrels are some crafty okay? They know how to like get into stuff, grab things, collect stuff. They'll steal like the stuffing out of your couch cushions and make like houses out of it. So if it was squirrels, they easily could have gotten into that, okay? If it was food. The only other thing I could have thought that they put in there that I know people put in Easter eggs is money. And if it was money, we still couldn't have stolen it, because how the hell would we have gotten over the fence and gotten back over? Like, it still logistically makes no sense. So there's a second theory I have. If there was money. Next to them, a house had just been sold and people moved in. And you want to know who moved in? A bunch of grown teenage boys. Now, I don't know if you guys know how teenage boys work, okay? But they sometimes, you know, they move a little bit deviously, you know, just by choice. They felt like doing something a little interesting, okay? Maybe they felt like doing a little neighborhood heist. Those are the two theories. I don't know why she didn't think in her brain that any of those two possibilities were more logical than a 7 and like 5-year-old robbing your ass, okay? Like, in what universe is someone between the ages of like 5 to 9 able to commit a heist, okay? Like, what? Huh? But she, forever from there, held a grudge. She always thought it was us. She always thought it was us. She held a grudge. And listen, I'm gonna be honest. If that was me, okay, best believe I would admit that nowadays, okay? I would own up to that any day of the week. I would have told my parents. Even years later, I was like, we never did that. At this point, I wish I stole the eggs, because like real the amount of stuff this lady caused for us on the basis that we stole these eggs is crazy, okay? Now, come to the second problem I've had with this lady, okay? She thought she was Snow White or something, okay? She was a little bit delulu. She was a little bit crazy, because she would feed the birds in the forest. And she told me one time that she hand-fed the birds. I don't know if you know how wild birds work. I do not believe that a bird landed on your damn arm, okay? And you fed that like you were some Cinderella character with some fruit, okay? You are not, listen, lady, you are not built like that. Stop it. You might have set some food out for the birds on a tree stump and watched them eat it, but you did not hand feed the birds, okay? You did not hand feed the birds. Stop it. Anyways, one day, me and my friend, okay, listen, we liked to build little forts in the forest. Now, I don't see a problem with this, okay? We did do something that was a little bit, we brought some bush cutters, okay? Now, we cut some bushes. Did we cut wild bushes? No. You want to know what we cut? There was this in our forest in this neighborhood. Right when I moved into the neighborhood, it was a lot more green. It was a lot more colorful. It was a lot more pretty. Then over time, it became a lot of vines and very thorny vines. Super thorny vines that if you stepped in or passed would cut you. And I mean, these were some big ass thorns. Like, think the size of your, like, you know, like, I don't know, if I were to hold up like my thumb and cut it in half, that's how thick they were, okay? They were some thick thorns, all right? These were some big vines. And you want to know where these vines came from? Bird Lady's backyard. You could see it. She had these bushes that grew over her backyard and into the forest, and then it just polluted the entire area. It was this invasive like bush species she got, and it just quite literally up everything else. Now, me and my friend one time when we were playing in the forest, we just cut up some of the thorn bushes. Okay. And honestly, the thorn bushes are an invasive species. So you know what? We probably shouldn't have been cutting up bushes in the forest, but like these were also thorns and vines that weren't supposed to be there and were quite literally killing other shrubbery in the forest. So like, honestly, we were doing the forest a solid. Okay. At this point, like we were like, you know, like some habitat saviors, like okay. We were doing a solid. She saw us walking from the forest with these bush cutters, and she proceeded to stop us. And she gave us this whole lecture about how we were like killing the forest and how we're terrible kids and how she hand feeds the birds and we're gonna kill the wildlife that she created. I was in 5th grade at the time. I was with my best friend Michael, right? And me and Michael looked at each other and we were holding in a laugh, okay? Because the audacity of you to tell us we're killing the forest when quite literally you are the that killed the forest. It was you, stupid, okay? You were the one that made it turn from this pretty colorful thing to some green vine hellhole. That was you, stupid. But no, she had the audacity to lecture us. She took note of this too. So she had like a grudge for not liking us. Fast forward. There's a tree one time. We had this like central gazebo area outside of the forest. There was a tree one day that looked like it got like just chopped down randomly, but it also looked a little bit burnt. Okay. Pretty much the neighborhood, we had like this neighborhood watch or neighborhood association or whatever the hell. So this lady sees this tree and you know, she feeds the birds. So, when a tree gets messed up in the neighborhood, suddenly, all hell breaks loose and, like she has to repent to God and try to be a good person. So what does she do? She called the neighborhood association people. My mom gets a call from the guy at the neighborhood association saying, did your kids cut down this tree? Keep in mind, at this point, I was in like middle school. Okay. This is like years later. All right. I was in like 7th grade. She accused me and my sister of burning down this tree and cutting it when I was in like 7th grade. Because she was mad about the eggs and because she was mad about the thorn bushes. Okay, it was like this whole, like, she just had this grudge that just kept getting worse. I don't know what it was, okay? Like, I don't know what the hell her problem was. This girl, those old people that are like, oh yeah, I know what's right. That's how she sounded too. I completely hate how she talked. But she had some beef and thought we were the ones that burned down and cut down the tree. And then she had the audacity to ask my parents. My parents would throw neighborhood parties and invite a lot of people. We'd have like a yearly Halloween party, invite a bunch of people over. It was a good time. She had the audacity to ask my parents one year, why did you stop inviting me to your house parties? Are you dumb? Are you dumb? Are you there in the brain? For me, I just need to know. Because you sound a little bit incompetent, lady. You quite literally accused us of everything. Now, fast forward. Something else happened. I don't remember what the hell it was. But something happened where this lady felt provoked. I think it might have been the tree incident. What she did, I don't know why she did this. She called the actual police. Like 911 police, not the neighborhood watch. Like she called like the feds, okay? The actual feds on me and my sister. Why? The tree incident. So the tree incident, funnily enough, happened around Easter. All right? So this was the last day of Easter, or the last day before Easter weekend. So what she did, like this was a Friday, okay, that this happened on. I was coming home from school. I get home from school. My mom tells me she got a call from Neighborhood Watch about the tree. So since this happened around Easter, she called the actual police and lied about us robbing her eggs as if that happened this weekend. So she pretended like the eggs that got stolen when I was like 6, 7, 8, I suddenly stole when I was like 14. All of a sudden, 7 years had passed. The beef had grown stronger. Suddenly, she's trying to blame me for these eggs years later. And on top of that, blame me for the tree at the same time. So she called the police and said these kids burned down a tree in the neighborhood and stole from me. So then I had to deal with the police. So I was talking to police for like the weekend. Okay, trying to get this bullshit sorted. My parents were talking to the police. It was so dumb. And it came to the conclusion where I was like, okay, the police were like, all right, the bitch is bugging. But it took, it wasted all of our time for no reason. For no reason. It wasted all of our time. I don't know why she was so mad about this. I don't know if she had some ego problem. I don't know what the hell it was. So then my dad called her up and was like, yo, if you ever try to drag my kids into some bullshit like this again, it's gonna be a problem. And you're gonna have to deal with some legal repercussions because I'm not playing around. So my dad said, I will sue you into the ground. And I know I have better lawyers than you. Okay, because guess what? My dad 100% has better lawyers than her, okay? I ain't gonna lie. Listen, if there's one thing you can't beat my dad at, it's that sort of thing, all right? 100% will have better lawyers. This isn't the end of the saga. No. That would be too simple. Fast forward, a year and a half. All these birds start dying in the forest. They're just lying dead on the sidewalk. They're just dead. There's all these just birds, just found dead on the sidewalk. Now, if you forgot, this lady, she feeds the birds. So this hurt her to her soul, to her core. She was upset. She was like, damn, why are these kids, why are they killing the birds? Why are the birds dying? These were endangered birds. So it was illegal to kill them. You would get fined. I think it was I think it was like $10,000 if you killed a bird on purpose. I'm so serious. Like, the fine was steep. I'm not gonna lie. The fine was ridiculous, okay? And you wanna know what she did? Chat, anyone wanna guess? What do you think she did? Huh? What do you think she did? Who was to blame for the birds dying? You know, I just wanna guess based on our history. She called the feds again. She called the police. She 911 my ass over the speculation that I killed these damn birds. Now, thankfully, you know, this is all within a year of the last incident. So the police chief was the same dude, okay? It was the same guy we talked to. And since it was the same lady, and then it was another situation from this lady, the guy was just kind of like, all right, we know this lady's bugging, you know, we know this is crazy, like, just, it's fine, move on, you know, don't worry about it. Like, quite literally, like, they just ignored her, okay? They didn't really care. The police were on our side this time. Now, my dad was oddly not that mad about this one. I really wish he sued the lady, but he didn't, okay? He let, well, I don't know what it is, my parents are not suing people. Yo, I'm gonna be honest, the amount of times we could have just made some free money if they just did it, what happened? So my dad did not lawyer up, unfortunately. You know, the threat was veiled, okay? Okay, that was a lie, I guess, you know? I was a little bit mad about that, but whatever. So my friend at the time, I had this friend named Jack, okay? Jack comes over to my house. Jack was really into hunting, okay? And he proceeds to just somehow casually tell my dad, oh yeah, I was practicing my new like BB gun or my crossbow in the forest, and I was killing a bunch of birds. My dad looked at him like, oh, you were killing a bunch of birds? Oh, so it was you, and my kids got blamed. Now, of course, my dad wasn't mad at the kid at all, you know, wasn't blaming him. My dad just thought it was hilarious that it was just like this other kid that just casually admitted to killing all these birds, but we got blamed for no reason. That my dad was like, quite literally, this is the comedy of the year. Okay, like there's no reason this should have happened. He was killing endangered birds. He marked like 4 of them. Okay, you know, that's like a $40,000 fine. But you know what? It's whatever. Jack didn't really care. Okay. My dad was like, hey, Jack, I'm going to tell you, and I'm going to tell your parents this too, you know, killing those birds, you get fined like 10 grand. So I don't think it would be a good idea. And Jack was like, oh, I didn't know. I'm sorry. His parents talked to him about it. Never happened again. But, you know, it was just like a chill, like, hey, in case you didn't know kind of situation. I thought this would be the end of this lady. I thought she would finally give up. At this point, I'm in high school. Okay. I'm riding my bike on the street. I don't remember where I was going, where I was coming home from. I just remember I was riding my bike on the street, and I remember what this lady's car looked like. It was this white, you know those like cars that are called mom cars? They're like not SUVs, but they're like not sedans. They're like that in between, you know, like the little ones with like the flatter ends that kind of look like bubbles almost. She had one of those, okay? I call them mom cars, all right? Like, they're like SUVs, but they're like littler versions of normal SUVs, okay? She was driving in her white mom car. I don't remember what it was, all right? And she saw me on the bike. And I was crossing the street, and tell me why she went from going, 20 miles per hour in the neighborhood to 60. This tried to hit me with her car. I'm so serious. She dead ass tried to ram me with her car, and she was trying to do it in a way where like she didn't kill me, but she my up, but she didn't kill me. Like okay. So what she did is, I was walking across the street with my bike, okay? And you know how when you walk with your bike, you're walking near the handlebars normally. So you're like in the middle of the bike, and the back end of the bike is still sticking out behind you. So what she did is she accelerated just enough so she would ram the back of my bike, but not hit me. So my bike would swerve and I would fly into the ground, right? So that's what she tried to do, okay? I noticed she was doing this because I don't know how I noticed she was trying to do this. I just had some instinct. I was like, oh, she gonna hit me with her car. Like, she just sped up a little bit too fast when she saw it was me. Okay. So I literally just dropped my bike and just ran off to the side. And then my bike proceeded to just like get like, airborne and like do a little loop-de-loop and then land on the sidewalk next to me as I stood there like, bruh. I go home and I tell my dad. My dad was on some demon timing, okay? He called the police. He called a lawyer. He called everyone that he knew that could this lady's life up. You know what they say about like the whole white women tears meme, or like the women tears where like, ladies can just cry and get out of anything? I'm not saying it works all the time, but it worked for this. She was able to somehow, on like some technicality, say that she meant to step on her brake, but she accidentally stepped on the acceleration button. And like on some weird, you know, she got off of this. She got off, right? I don't know if it's because my parents didn't fully pursue it after this, but it was one of those things where like it was really complicated. And for some reason, she like, if we were going to pursue it, it would not have worked. Okay. Like it logistically wouldn't have been worth the time. So, and also it was one of those things where like she was trying to pretend like I was crazy. It was just very weird. So nothing happened. So my dad was like, you know, you can anonymously send people poop, right? Yeah, I wasn't hurt. So that also like made it where it seemed like it could have been a lie. And my bike wasn't really damaged. So there was no proof that this happened. It was kind of my word against hers. So it was very hard to like do. So my dad was like looking at websites to anonymously send this lady poop for like a week. And you know, he was really debating sending her poop. Like he was really debating it. And he decided not to. I really wish he did. I think it would have been great. But like he decided, you know what? If someone anonymously sends her poop, she's 100% going to blame us and it's just going to be a bigger situation. So for the sake of keeping peace, I'm not going to do that. I would have thought that, you know, after the whole police scare, she would move on and, you know, not try to cause issues for us. But nope. So one day this lady walks up to her doorstep. She got a package. Okay. Bird lady. She opens the package. Want to know what she finds in the package? A dead rabbit. Bloody and all. Freshly killed. So she blamed us again. As per usual, she blamed us again. And I don't know why she blamed us because I never killed no rabbit, okay? And so then she was like, it must have been your... Then she was blaming my dad. So at this point, she wasn't even blaming me or my sister. She thought it was my dad, you know, because my dad a little bit crazy. He made sure she knew he was crazy, okay? So that she stopped with us, okay? I don't know who else has beef with this lady, but if she was causing this many problems for us, I guarantee she was causing problems for someone else, okay? So maybe someone else sent her a rabbit just to send her a message, but it wasn't us. You know, I wish it was me, honestly, okay? That would have been great. I would have freaked her out. I wish I would have done that and put a hidden camera inside of the okay? I really wish it was me. I wish it was me. You know, I would have sent her a bunny rabbit with a glitter bomb with fake blood that she thought she got rabbit blood all over her. Like, I really wish it was me. Okay, I wish it was me because I still got blamed for it anyways. My dad was like, okay, I'm actually tired of this lady. Like, I'm serious. My dad talked to her husband. Was like, hey, I don't know if you know what your wife been doing, but let me give you a quick rundown, buddy. Because her husband worked a lot and wasn't home much. So it was mainly her. So it turns out her husband had no idea that she was acting this crazy. My dad said, hey, let's get coffee at this place to talk. Let's have a conversation. And what my dad did, listen, like I said, don't listen. If there's anyone in this world I would not try to with, it would be my father. He invited this lady's husband to coffee, but, you know, conveniently left out some key info. That my dad also invited his lawyer to the coffee dinner too, or the coffee date too. So my dad pulled up with his lawyer, okay, without telling him. So he showed up and my dad already had the lawyer right there ready to serve him the papers, okay? Because the thing is, listen, with lawsuits and legal stuff, they have to have proof that you served some of the papers. So my dad had that stuff ready for him to show up to the dinner, okay, or the little coffee whatever meeting, and had the papers already ready for this man, okay? So he handed him the papers and he said, if you, your wife, your family, your kid, anyone with your last name or shared blood ever tries to accuse my family of anything again, this is exactly what I'm going to do. Documented and written out and authorized and notarized by my lawyer sitting to the left of me. So my dad had a whole, pretty much a pre-written lawsuit that if he or his wife crossed the line again, he would have just gone through with. Because my dad didn't want to sue him, okay? My dad really didn't want the trouble. He didn't want to cause more issues for this man who probably didn't know about this. But he was like, hey, if you ever, and I mean ever, do another thing, I am actually going to ruin you. And on top of it being a civil case, my dad probably could have done something legally too with the police because of all the false police reports she made. Because it is illegal to make false police reports repetitively about someone. It is. All right. So that's illegal too. So my dad easily could have pressed that. So this man, when my dad recounts this story, he was like, I've never seen a grown man look more scared in my entire life until that coffee date. I didn't even know people could look that shocked. was like, I didn't even know people could look that. Like, he was like, he looked like his life flashed before his eyes. Okay. Like, it was bad. And so my dad, with his lawyer and this husband, had the husband sign this like legal document saying that him, his wife, or his son would never accuse or mess with us again, or there would be issues. And he signed that. He signed it. Keep in mind, his son was low-key a bully. He didn't really bully me, but he was like, his son was not a good dude, okay? And after that, I never heard from this lady again. I never heard from the husband again. The kid never talked to me again. Life was good. And they moved out of the neighborhood about like 6 months later. And I never heard from them since. Thank God. Weird ass motherfuckers, bro. Damn, like that was so extra for what? Like for what? Like why were you causing all these problems for me? Like for what? Like I literally don't understand. Like this lady had a grudge on me. Like this 50-year-old, 60-year-old lady had a grudge on me since I was 7 years old. What in the, like what? Like that's gotta be something, like you have some, like you need to see a psychologist and a psychiatrist, okay? And maybe a prison inmate to get your shit sorted. Because what in the actual hell was that? It actually made no sense to me. For like years, I didn't understand why this was such an issue. Like I still to this day, like why was she so pressed? What did I do? I don't understand, you know? I went on the conversation when he got home with his wife. I don't know, man. I think they're divorced now. I like don't actually remember. I don't remember if they got divorced or someone else in the neighborhood got divorced. But I know, no, maybe that's why they moved. I think they got divorced and then moved. And maybe I feel like it was because of the crazy stuff like this she was doing. So, because the husband literally just had no idea. Like real talk, he had no clue. Because he was just working all the time. And this lady wasn't a stay-at-home wife. She was a stay-at-home menace. Okay? She was a stay-at-home menace. That's all she did, cause problems. All right? I wonder how she bagged him in the first place, because how does it go on for that long? I don't know. You know, they say some people, when they hit a certain age, they go a little bit crazy. I think maybe that's what happened. The husband and her were about the same age, though. Husband was like mid-50s, 60s. At this point, my dad was in like his, like, I think late 30s, early 40s. No, I think it was like early 40s. Yeah. Like my dad was like 42 at the time or something. And this dude was like 50, 60. Anyways, so yeah, that was it. But that was the worst neighbor I've ever had.